212.
Hello, hashtag VersTEAv family, and welcome. It's week 212. I'm Aaron Mack, and I'm here with my good friend Kevin, aka Basic Complexity, who will actually take it away with a significance of the number 212 or some number somewhere in there. Basic Complexity, take it away.
All right, so with the number 212, it is definitely or what you could say regarding the number 12 or 1 or however you look at it. All right, so I want to speak about the number 12 because at that age, I figured that I was becoming a adult. Wasn't quite there yet, but I was like in that iffy stage. I wasn't quite a kid, wasn't even a teenager yet, but yeah, those were the things going through my mind at that age. Um, Also, at that time, technically, I was then 11, and whereas I never had a little brother, even though I really wanted one, um, my mom became a godmother to a young boy. So I became a god brother to my, well, then, so obviously currently my god brother. Um, and I was nearly, well, when he was born, so I'm almost 12 years older than, not quite yet, but yeah, almost. Um, and yeah, the thing that really stood out about that to me was because when my youngest sister was born, I was 6 going on 7. I still remember very obviously my mom was like, I'm not having no more kids. I'm done. I was like, well, it goes that dream of having a little brother. So when I became a god brother, I was like, all right, close enough. I'll go for it. And yeah, that's what I got about 12 or 1, however you look at it.
Well, technically, it's both because one for when he became your god brother, and you were going on 12 when you became his god brother. So,
Right.
well done, my friend. All right. So, I will go into my new song this week, and my new song is none other than 2021's release, Whole Lot of Money by Bia and Nicki Minaj. It was the remix to A Whole Lot of Money. And I must admit, I don't really know exactly what they're talking about. When they say jewelry, I don't know. Maybe it's literal. Maybe they're literally just talking about their jewels, like, clutch my pearls. But it's a whole lot of money in this MF, and like, huh, Bia explains that she puts on her jewels just to go to the bodega. And Nicki Minaj, of course, said, and I'm not gonna lie, like this is a cute line. I'm sorry, y'all, we're getting so explicit so early on, but we're quoting Nicki Minaj, another wonderful woman. But she said, I put on my jewelry just to suck my baby off. Fingers on his. Oh my gosh, I almost feel like so nasty, like talking about that. But I'm not gonna lie, I got a kick out of that. Another kick out of the fact that she was like, I put on my jewels just to go sit by the pool. And I'm like, stop. No, she didn't just say poo and deliberately drop the other OL. Or actually, maybe it was just POO and she just dropped the L. I don't know, but I thought that was fun. Put on my jewels just to go sit by the pool. Okay. Anyway, it's a cool song and it has a nice beat. And I must admit, for better or for worse, seemingly often for worse, but I remember when I was younger, it seemed like I was like, if a song has a nice beat and melody, I don't care what they're talking about. I just like the beat and the melody to the lyrics. And it's like, yeah. People might be talking about some really wild stuff. Anyway, I've gone too far. Kevin, Basic Complexity, your older song.
Yes. And sorry, was just trying to get my lighting right.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There we go. All right. So, in regards to my older song this week, and well, some you probably forgot this, but was actually a cool song back in the day. Song by Mary J. Blige and Ja Rule, called Rainy Days. Now, that song really stands out to me because really the song itself, Rainy Days, was originally um intended for the 1999 TLC album Fan Mail. Now, that was written by T-Boss and Dallas Austin, but the group overall declined it. Um, However, the song was later picked up by Mary J. Blige in 2000. Um, yeah, and you could, like, if you listen to the song, you could tell it was originally intended for TLC just by the lyrics in the song, even though, yeah, T-Bus did write part of it. But in the song, there was one intentional line that said, and I quote, "We living so crazy and sexy and cool, and we begin to love it." I believe. Um, and that was from the TLC album Crazy, Sexy, Cool, released in 1994. So, yeah, it referenced that. Also in the song, one line in the song and kind of figure out kind of figure out exactly what the line was, but more or less it was something about waterfalls, chasing waterfalls, and that regarded the song waterfalls on TLC's album. Um, was that Crazy Sexy Cool in 1994, I believe. And yeah, it was the song overall, I thought was cool, but it was kind of obvious, was initially intended for TLC. So yeah, like I said, Mary J. Blige picked it up actually in 2001, um, which was basically 2 years after, um, 2 years later, um, from when it was initially supposed to be released in 1999.
Excellent. All right. So it is now the time that we are going to not only name the topics like we do, but it's also that special time that we say thank you to all of our hashtag VersTEAv family around the globe who tune in and check us out, country by country. Thank you. So that's so. How? Let me tell you how it goes. Anyway, but we'll start it. Norway, thank you. United Kingdom, thank you. Netherlands, thank you. Canada, thank you. Egypt, thank you. Germany, thank you. Belgium, thank you. Singapore, thank you. United States, thank you. And we thank you all for sticking with hashtag VersTEAv. We value your presence so much. Thank you. Thank you. And also, I will give the titles of the topics for the week, and they are as follows. I'm clearing my throat. I wanted to sound really official, you guys. Anyway, but yes, hashtag brand unaware, hashtag some better, hashtag devolution of, hashtag CareAffirmed, hashtag live one timeless TV. Basic complexity, are you ready to get this show on the road, my friend?
Yes.
Hashtag brand unaware at MattXIV, hashtag VersTEAv212
Pride is around the corner. Let's look at some of the worst Pride brand campaigns in recent history. Starting off strong, we have Let's Grab Beer Tonight Queens. Now, not only was no one on this marketing team gay, I don't think any of them had ever met a gay person. This was part of American Apparel's Pride collection: diversity, transgender, evidence-based, science-based, fetus, entitlement, vulnerable. Now, the important context here is that these were all words that were banned by the CDC under the Trump administration. But without that context, it's like, yeah, I guess I support the DTESFEV community. Next up, the magazine Entertainment Weekly celebrated Pride by adding a pride flag to their EW logo. And like, I don't know how not a single person on their social media team saw this and was like, wait a minute, guys, wait, I don't know if this is the one. Next, we have the famously pro-gay United States Marines, known for such hits as the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, posting a pride helmet with rainbow bullets that says proud to serve. I mean, this is actually probably a great pride product if you're a gay person with no self-respect, and perhaps the winner of them all. Last year, Burger King released a Pride Whopper where you could get either 2 top buns or 2 bottom buns, and I regret to inform you, I have no idea what the goal was here. The backlash to this image was so severe that they had to issue an apology, but like, I kind of wanted to try the top burger.
All right. Ooh. Okay. Getaway. So, I will say the timer, of course. Always the timer. For me, maybe I'm old. I am approaching 40. I know. I'm like Sally O'Malley from Saturday Night Live. I'm 50 years old. You know, it's like I'm 40 years old, almost 40, just a few days away. But I might be old, but I do give credit for companies that try. And maybe that's too much, but I give credit for companies that try. And the way that I see it, it's more than it was before. So I see it as a little bit of an improvement. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. As far as Bud Lights and their, what do you call that? Acronym, if you will, and their use of the acronym. It's like, it's cute, you know, let's grab a beer tonight, Queens. It's like, oh, okay, cool. It was whatever. American Apparel, okay. For Entertainment Weekly, having the EW on the rainbow flag, I understand why that would be considered awkward, because it's almost like it's saying ew on the rainbow flag, but it's like, that's their logo. So if EW is going to be interpreted as ew, that's what their logo is for themselves. So I understand why they wouldn't say, let's not do that one, because it'll seem like we're saying ew this time. Anyway, but as far as the don't ask, don't tell, rainbow bullets scare me. I'm not gonna lie. And just seeing them in the hat kind of scared me. I'm a little bit of a wuss. Sorry. But I'll also acknowledge don't ask, don't tell policy was from Congress. And as far as the Trump rainbow hat, humans are complicated, right? And I did it again, sorry. But humans are complicated and often just unresearched. Is that an excuse? I don't know. As far as the Burger King one, yes, sir, I too am intrigued by the 2 top buns. Anyway, whatever. That's all I have before my 1 minute. Basic complexity.
Okay. After hearing this, I really feel that they should either start a LGBTQIA task force, or just leave it alone. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, they they tried. Yes, they tried. But it was a complete and utter flop. But they got an A for effort. That's what I got.
All right. And I'm going to mix my 1 minute with my sentence. So, my one sentence sum up is I do give credit to companies for trying, and it may just be kindness for the sake of profit. And I understand that as well. But the fact that gay friendly things can even equal profit in today's society, I feel that's a positive sign of forward motion. Again, thank you, companies like GLAAD and just everybody. Thank you very much. GLAAD, GLAAD, Gay and Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. GLAAD. There we go. Got it. Yay. And maybe I'm just totally in the wrong, but I feel it is some kind of progress, maybe. And maybe it's just for profit, but the fact that being gay friendly can be a profitable thing, I think that's a good thing. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm sorry. Maybe I give too much credit. I don't know. But I know sometimes we have to put our foot down with things. And I get that as well. Basic complexity?
Yes. My statement is that if someone from the community, I mean the LGBTQIA community, is not brought on board as an advisor at the very least, then they should just stop embarrassing themselves because that's all they are doing. That's what I.
All right. So we're ready for the next topic, and you will be first for this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hashtag SomeBetter at Boluo Coupe. Hashtag VersTEAv212
Thoughts on open relationships and polyamory? I don't have much thoughts. I think whatever relationship dynamic people feel works for them is their business if it works. I think the issue is that when you hear open relationships, people tend to just assume that an open relationship means that someone just wants to go around sleeping with as many people as possible, which I don't necessarily think is the case. I think open relationships just recognize the fact that sometimes it does happen that you have sexual feelings or urges for other people who are not your current partner. We are humans and that happens. Those feelings do occur. Or some people just recognize that while they can have and only want one life partner, it's at the same time kind of unlikely that they will be satisfied having only one sexual partner for the rest of their life. And I think being open just gives you the room to be able to healthily explore those feelings if they do come up without it being cheating or without somebody having to lie or be dishonest or whatever. So yeah, I don't think it's just like a free card to run around and fuck everything. And with regards to polyamory, I personally have never experienced this, but I do find it fascinating. And honestly, I feel like not everyone is monogamous. Like, I don't think everybody has to be monogamous. I think some people are genuinely polyamorous by nature, which is fine. And I think a lot of people actually are that way. It's just that we find ourselves as a society forced into monogamous situations because monogamy is currently seen as the moral or ethical relationship dynamic or relationship standard. So I believe like whether it's monogamy or open or polyamorous, I think there isn't like a right or wrong answer. I think it's simply about the preferences and boundaries between yourself and your partner or partners.
Basic complexity.
All right. I'm actually interested in hearing about this. Now, I mean, I am a completely monogamous man, but teach their own pretty much. Um, if two people are in a relationship and that's how they structure their relationship, then as long as the lines of communication are open, then they could just do their thing. Um, and I often say to each their own. What works for one might not work for another. But like, do your thing. And that's what I've.
Oh, right. And I say yes. And it almost seems like I might be piggybacking on you, but we kind of had similar perspectives to the extent that I say yes, whatever works, whatever safely works for you and yours, you in your relationships, do that. Whatever it takes. I don't know, just establish. Oh yeah. I wanted to say that as well to Bolu Okupe. I know that's right, sir. You better establish that quote. I've not experienced that because I know it. I know what you're saying. I know you're like people should be, and I agree completely. People should be able to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
He's like, but I've not done that. But people should be able to do whatever they want to. I guess that's a little bit libertarian in him as well, as long as it's not hurting someone. Sometimes people do want to just have sex for everything and possibly just bored. You're right. And sometimes people just want to have sex all the time because they're just bored. They're bored with you sometimes. Not everybody gets that way, but sometimes when people want the open relationship thing, yes, it is because they're like, I just want to be able to F more people than just you. You bore me. And it might not be you bore me. Maybe they just have a really high sexual appetite. And for some, naturally, more poly. But some people are naturally more polyamorous, polygamous. But and polygamy is not a dirty word. It's received as such, but it's not a dirty word. But some people are just naturally that way. But I'll also say some people can change with age. And I think about myself when I was in my 20s. Honestly, I used to think that because of my high, it's embarrassing, shameful, I'm kidding, but because of my high porn and masturbation drive, I was like, wow, well, I'm so into this stuff. I guess logically, I must be more than the average person. Maybe I'm meant to go into sex work. And that's part of the reason that I speak so passionately about that stuff, because it's like I do acknowledge that I would have been just a couple of steps away from making what, in my opinion, would have been a wrong decision. And I'm glad I did not make that. I don't, ooh, is that outside? Anyway, but yes. And, oh yeah, I used to want sex work with a loving pimp. Basic complexity, what's your one squared?
Yes. Every relationship in general is different. Um, and no one can judge that period. Um, that may not be my thing, but that is just my personal opinion on that. And that's nothing, sorry, and that's nothing to do with anything else. That's all I have.
And from my one squared, I will say, kind of attempt to finish. So, yes, some people are naturally more polygamist, polyamory, polyandry, all these polys are naturally more poly than others. And that can be fine, but I say just acknowledge that people can change in time. And my decision or my feeling like, oh, that would have not been the best choice for me is not just because I just don't think it would have been the right move for me. So that's why I say acknowledge that some things you might feel like you have a really high sex drive because you're younger, and sometimes when we're younger, like I used to be at it everything multiple times a day. And I was just like, wow, I'm uniquely this frequent. And it wasn't unique. I wasn't unique, but I just felt that way at that time. But then as I grew up higher, beyond my 20s, I realized, you know what? No, that's not how I was. That's just where things were at that time. Anyway, my one sentence is there is no universal right or wrong way to be in a relationship. Do whatever safely works for you, period. Yeah, and if everybody does safely whatever works for them, then we'll all be safe and we'll all be living right. Wow. Basic complexity or one square? Oh, wait a minute. No, you already did that. Okay. Are you ready for the next topic?
Yes.
And I really hope this noise doesn't come over on the radio, on the recording. But there is something going on outside. I don't want to say life in the hood, but anyway, all right.
Devolution of at NM Sleaze. Hashtag VersTEAv212C.
Labels do not care about talent anymore. It's about your popularity. So the music industry has changed drastically because of that. So when I was growing up, I would put on the radio and hear talented people. When you guys put on the radio now, you hear popular people.
Okay. So, my response is, honestly, it's the anymore for me, okay? And I don't know why people just don't want right. I classify that in the same realm of what Kim Kardashian recently got in trouble for saying earlier this year or last year or whatever, talking about people just don't want to work anymore. And I remember somebody put together a bit of a collage on Instagram going through all of the different times that's been said time and time and time and time and time and time again throughout history, going all the way back to like the 20s. It's always somebody who's like, I don't know what it is, but people just don't want to work anymore. Anymore. It's the anymore for me. Anyway, but yes, yeah, and people present it like, oh, it's this profound revelation that people just don't want to work anymore. I've realized that anyway. But yes, Nicki Minaj is right about the industry. Absolutely. I mean, she is in the industry at a high level, so golly. But her saying anymore does make us older millennials sound just that much older. Just sound old. You know, to be like, oh, you youngsters don't get good music anymore. We used, when I was growing up, and she did it like that, kind of. When I was growing up, we had good music. We had talented people. It's like, okay, you know? But it's kind of like, and this is something that I acknowledged as I was growing up. It's kind of like the people being like, you millennial kids just don't know about good music. And the generation before that, the people were saying, you Gen X kids just don't know about good music. And the generation before that, you baby boomer kids just don't know about good music. You silent generation kids just don't know about good music. And people, again, Nicki Minaj's point is real. She made a real point because it is about the numbers of your popularity, because music companies don't want to invest in artist development anymore. They want you to already be a developed act and already have your following so they can just stamp a name onto you and be like, hey, this is our product, you know, kind of like America. No, I didn't say that, but kind of like how people, and see, now I'm going to spend the whole time trying to backtalk myself, but kind of like people do when they conquer places, you know, like, hey, this is ours. So no shade to America because I love America. I am American. Okay. Darn right. American and proud. Represent. Anyway, basic complexity, your whole thing.
Okay. After hearing what was said, I will say that honestly, I do agree with Nicki Minaj. Now, I do not want to be taken out of context because that happens often. However, when Nicki started started to gain popularity. There we go. When Nicki started to gain popularity to the masses. There we go. She was making an extremely flamboyant look, but she was I'm sorry, flamboyant look, and it's here we go. Work for her. I am definitely not hating at all, but she was she had created um she had created uh a, a initial look, and it has been working for her. So Yeah, that's her thing. The but she doesn't quite go on that extreme flamboyant look that she once did. And that's what I've
Oh, right. I'll say, remember when Nicki Minaj first came out? She was very openly bi. Actually, no. She started off openly lesbian, and then she sort of went into like, well, no, I mean, I like both. And then it kind of went into, well, I mean, I like men, but sometimes women are cute. And then it went into, no, I'm totally heterosexual. Sorry, I don't know. Everybody can be attractive. I love everybody, but I'm a hetero. And it's like, oh, okay. I love Nicki Minaj, though. I do. I do. And I will say, as far as different generations having different tastes in music, I remember speaking with a silent generation family member of mine years ago when I was a little kid about Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston came on, and I was like, yeah, you know, let's listen to some Whitney Houston. Isn't she like the consummate best singer in the world? And my silent generation family member was like, I don't want to hear her yell at me. And I was like, oh, okay. So different people have different things that they like. But, she loved people like Nat King Cole and definitely younger than Nat King Cole, but she would also jam to some Barbara Streisand, you know, um, Neil Diamond, people like that. Anyway, but yeah, that was more her thing. But for Whitney Houston, she was like, I don't want to hear her yell at me, particularly on the song How Will I Know? Because that's what was playing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, How Will I Know is on. VH1 would always play like throwbacks and such. And she was like, I don't want to hear her yell at me. Anyway, I will say that, well, just to double, Nicki Minaj is right. I agree with what she's saying. She's right. She's right. And I will really lay it on thick in my one sentence in that Nicki Minaj is right. Today's companies want to see your numbers. They want no need, no requirement to do any artist development. They just want to slap their brand on you. And again, oh, yeah. They just want to be able to slap their brand on you and be like, this is ours. And again, it's her anymore for me. It's the anymore for me. Anyway, you, 1 and 1. Wow. I know I spoke about being in the hood before, but golly, people, oof. I love where I live. I love people. Anyway, basic complexity or 1 square.
I personally feel that music artists in general should try their best to, to stay as true to themselves as possible. I understand that music changes. Sorry, music changes at the at all the time. I'm sorry. Yeah, music changes all the time, and that they have to change also, but just don't go way too far. And that's what I have.
All right. So, our next one. Are we ready? And I need to be saying this each time. Share, subscribe, and share again, please and thank you. Share with a friend, share, subscribe, and share again. Thank you very much thank you. Okay, here we go. And you're up first.
Hashtag CareAffirmed at Head on Fire Pod. Hashtag VersTEAv212
The kind of content giving me joy this week are those like transphobic Joe Rogan wannabe alpha male types who are like 5'6" short kings and then show videos of them like getting this like intense surgery so they can become 5'8" short kings. And do not get it twisted, you are still a short king at 5'8", because if you and I were both in the cereal aisle and some little old lady came up and wanted something off the top shelf, she'd be talking to my 6'6" fruity ass and not yours. But then if somebody in the comments says, hey, congratulations on your gender affirming care, they are losing their minds. Because when they hear the words gender affirming surgery, they think trans people and cutting off peepees. Folks, cutting off peepees is not just what gender affirming surgery is. It is anything that you are doing to your body to align with the way that you see yourself inside. There are cisgender heterosexual men that develop breast tissue that they do not want, and they have that removed because it does not align with the version of maleness that they feel about themselves inside. Nature did not give them the body that aligns with their identity, so they're gonna go buy it. It's the same thing, folks. But we have so much internalized transphobia, internalized homophobia, that we are so terrified at being thought of as doing the same thing as trans folks. Because like, oh my gosh, if that is what I did, then am I gay? Normalize the fact that this is all just gender affirming care. Normalize the fact that gender affirming care is far beyond just cutting off peepees. But until then, I am enjoying watching these transphobic alpha bros have an absolute meltdown. It's fantastic. Thank you, goodbye.
Basic complexity.
All right. It's funny overall because yeah, the so-called allegedly so-called alpha males, alpha male kings do seem to lose their minds about gender affirming care. Some, but not all, just some. Yet some heterosexual males are so threatened by a gay, or in particular a gay person, that they may want them, but to wow, yeah, that typo, excuse me. To be real, they to be completely real, not all attractive guys do, or the ones that gays chase after. And for anybody that truly knows gay male in particular, we kinda are, one, we are respectful, but two, we are picky. And like, at least speaking for myself, if I know you straight, I'm not chasing after you. I respect that. And I have straight male friends, and I have gay male friends. It's all cool in my eyes. And that's just the way that I say it. It just seems that some some heterosexual men seem to think that every gay man wants them, and people like, dude, you ain't even cute. And that's just what I.
All right. So, it's interesting because I won't say everyone thinks that, but I do remember my mom saying part of the reason that she was very on the team of same gender loving people is because like when she would watch talk shows, we're talking about when she was in her 20s, when she would watch talk shows and stuff, and it was popular like in the 80s and 70s to have the gay person come on the show and tell this family I'm gay, come out on a talk show. Great move. And they would be like, well, I mean, you could be gay or whatever, but I don't want you to want me. And my mom would be like, why would they, why is that so often the response? I don't want you to want me. That they don't necessarily want you. Anyway, but yes, I just wasted a lot of time talking about that. I did think my initial reaction is the same as my connection. I did initially think that gender affirming care was pretty much predominantly for cutting off PPs or inverting vaginas, but I didn't realize it was more to it than that. Like I wasn't opposed to it anyway. I just thought that's what it was. That was the extent of it. And no shade to shorter people, but I get his point. He did throw y'all shorter people under the bus. I'm sorry that he did, Kevin. I get it. It's okay. It's okay. I get it. And yeah, I too like I didn't realize what he mentioned as far as the guys that form extra breast tissue and them getting that removed and stuff. That's gender affirming care. And I never looked at it that way. But I am one of those guys who has grown the little piece of extra breast tissue there. And kids used to tease me a lot in school for it, to the point that I would have to not have to, but to the point that I would be walking around hunched over all the time, trying to not let my shirt pull up against my breast because they are perky anyway. But my mom saw that and cited that as an issue. So we did go to the doctor to see about my options as far as what I would do. And I'm glad I decided against it, but I did not choose to get the surgery to get it's called gynecomastia, when you grow a little extra breast tissue when a man grows that. And I'm glad that I didn't ask them to do anything with it. Anyway, all right, basic complexity, you're 1 and 1.
Yeah, really simple when it comes to it. Um, yeah, pretty much. And short and simple. Just that everyone don't want you, just chill out. That's it.
Okay. And I will finish what I was saying. So, but in my sexual exploration days, that I had also called my thought days, but in those sexual exploration days, right after high school, in college, I quickly learned that a lot of dudes, not all dudes, but a good number of dudes, in spite of the fact that like I would be teased so badly for it in high school, it's like for a lot of dudes, it was something that they really loved because it would like I guess it would help them feel like a little bit more of a man. Like I'm gay, but I'm with a man that has breasts, light, small breasts. So maybe that would help them feel more manly. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. But I do feel that that has me feel that's often or for a long time had me feel a connection to people in the trans community because it's like I kind of experience both sides as well, you know, without the awful troubles that the world puts trans people through, and we need to make the world a better place for everyone to live. But that was sort of an interesting connection of mine because, like, I have it. Anyway, my one sentence is: we assume the life and the purpose of the actions of people, then we conjecture and judge them. Doesn't the Bible say that we shouldn't judge? We don't read it. We don't read the Bible. It's a really big book. But that shouldn't be an excuse, but for many it is. Anyway, basic complexity. Yeah. Are you ready for our closing? Oh yeah. Speaking of closing, I'm Aaron Mack. This has been hashtag VersTEAv week 212. And we are closing out. And yes, you can find hashtag VersTEAv at hashtag VersTEAv. You can also find us www.VersTEAv.com. And if you wish to email me, you can email me, Aaron Mack at VersTEAv.com. That's AARONMCK at VersTEAv.com. Basic complexity?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was drawing a blank. Yes, I could, and sorry, I was trying to, here we go. I was trying to pull up my contact information. But it could be found at basic complexity at VersTEAv.com. And that's BASICCOMPLEXITY at VersTEAv.com. And yes, that is the email. Could also be found on Instagram at Basic Complexity. And once again, that's BASICCOMPLEXITY. Also, I could be found on TikTok and screening there, and because basic complexity was apparently already taken by someone. Um, but yeah, I didn't have much of a choice. So on TikTok, my screen name is my basic complexity. And yeah, that's what I have.
All right, social media family, this has been week 212, and we are about to go into our timeless live once timeless TV. All right, and cool. I'll do it this way. I'm still with you all, but it's just a touch of moment, a little bit, just a little bit, with just a touch of moment. Anyway, all right. So, are you ready for the live once timeless TV segment, which often, not always, but it seems like it will at least often be our musical segment. Are you ready for some music?
Yeah.
Music from a good millennial's childhood. So, technically, all of these songs are from the year 1996. And